Would you like to get started with the best website builder totally for free? I'm going to be showing you how to use Squarespace. Hey everybody, welcome to this new video Tech Express. I'm going to be showing you how to work with Squarespace totally for free for beginners. I'm going to leave you a link down below in the description if you want to check out really amazing deals for strong and useful plans, even the basic plans. So let's just get started with how to use Squarespace to website builder. So in this video, I'm going to be making an introduction to Squarespace. Who's going to be talking about the introduction, the features, why choosing Squarespace for your website, like a few overview of the templates, designing option, moving on into the next segment, create your Squarespace account and choosing the right template for you. I'm going to be showing you how to customize your website design, the layout. Then later on, I'm going to be showing you to add content and multimedia elements. Then I'm going to be setting up an online store and e-commerce depending if you're willing to create product pages, if you wanted to make some payment gateways, managing orders and inventory, and lastly, how to optimize your Squarespace website for SEO and mobile devices if you're okay with it. Lastly, we're going to be showing you how to launch your Squarespace website and a little bit more beyond, a few tips of how you can get started with the custom domain, for example, launching your website through the public and maybe promoting your website if you wanted to level up and use a little bit more of your actual budgeting to a few email marketing strategies in social media. So let's just get started and move on. So if you click into the link that I'm going to leave you down below in the description, you might see that you have something like this. It's going to be asking you what is your site about. So in this tutorial, let's say that I wanted to create a website, let's say for media and podcast or marketing, for example, and describe your site. So let's say that I choose marketing, and let's say that we are a small company dedicated to for small businesses, for example. Now, what are your top goals? So in this case, let's say, for example, that our top goals is to publish a blog, to, let's say, sell on-demand videos, or to just offer contact form, to sell stuff, to sell products, to sell invoices, to get appointments. That is totally up to you guys. So if you wanted to enable, let's say, for example, products, hit into that, or a service and hit into next. Now, how would you like to get started? There's two ways of how you can get started with this new Squarespace. And what I do love to use is to choose a professional designed website template. Can be helping me to figure out which are the elements that I do want to see into my actual new website. But mostly what a lot of people do is to build a custom template with Squarespace blueprint. Now this blueprint is going to be just asking you a few questions about your website. What are the colors the best suits for you? What are the blocks that you want to see? And then you're going to be creating like an actual website. So usually what I do is just to choose a professional designed website template, and then I choose this one and I hit now into finished. And then I choose this one and now we go into finished. Now I have make any template, yours with easy. So I have now into the type, I have my blog, I have my service, and I have my local business. So really important that you enable the best template matches here. So if I wanted to move on, let's say for example, I have the business and intellectual property attorneys. I have this option here, choose the one that best suits for you, and go into continue. Now really important, this is just totally optional. If there's no other template that's going to be helpful for you, you can try to create your new one. This is something that I do love to use to get started totally for free and to use something easy. But once again, if you want to get started with something brand new for yourself, and go with it. Now in this case, I think that I kind of like this one. So I'm going to hit before to start using it. I'm going to go for preview. Now, as you can see, this is how it's going to be looking my actual website. So as you can see, we have a quick animation of how it's actually looking. We have a few images, the blocks, a few GIFs, a few videos, the about itself, the design. So usually what I do love about this kind of templates is that they have by default like a design and like a preview of how it's going to be looking my website once somebody clicked in there. So we have the computer view, the tablet view, and most important here, the phone, the mobile device view. Why most important? Because so far there's a lot of people who actually check out social media, websites, videos, music, everything from their actual smartphone device. It's really important that you see that the template that you choose actually is optimized for your actual this smartphone device. If you kind of like it, we go for start with design. And now it's going to be asking you to create your account. So usually what I do is to continue with Google, because all of my basic information is generated and created, of course, from Google. So I don't need to set up anything at all, but just by choosing my account, hitting to sign in, and everything by default should be imported directly into Squarespace. It's really useful to just use that option. So as you can see now, I have the start selling on Squarespace, enter a name for your site, and then tap continue to learn how it can help you sell on your Squarespace. So in this case, let's go for Tech Express tutorials. I'm going to go into continue. We're going to be creating here this tutorial an actual website that can promote our videos from YouTube directly into Google. So in this case, we have access to content, courses, and more. I'm going to hit now into continue once again. I'm going to hit now into get started, and there we go. So usually what you need to do in order to edit your content, just hit into edit into the upper section, and you have now access through all of the action blocks in order to continue. We chose the right template, we chose the right blocks, we chose our actual right title of our website and the right design, or let's say in this case the right category to get started with. So how can we actually proceed? Is to customizing your website design and the actual layout. So in this case, if we already liked what we actually see here, what I wanted to do is to get started with the section that I wanted to edit. For example, we have the very first file that I wanted to edit is the actual background. So for example, we have the art. So I can choose, for example, this one. And as you can see, this is how it's going to be looking, this new section. Usually what there's a lot of people, what a lot of people do is just to make sure that it's actually looking great. So I think that I kind of like it. I'm going to just leave this like that. And I'm going to go into colors. Now in this case, you have the actual bright number 2. You can change this for, let's say, for example, darkest number 1, or let's say light number 1. So usually what I do is to choose the one that was already been added by default, but I'm going to hit into edit. Now into edit, what I do is to edit the actual colors that appears into my actual theme. So the site title, in this case, it's a little bit more yellower. So I think it's actually looking great. I'm going to try to make this a little bit more like this. There we go. I'm going to head back. Navigation links. I think I'm going to just leave this like that. And the section background. Really important in our case is to choose let's say colors like this, dark colors. Looks great so far. So now I have the text, the headline extra large on our background. Really important to choose exactly the same color here. So you just wanted to make sure that everything looks the same here. So you have black, we have black, we have black, we have black right here. I scroll a little bit down, text highlight the background. Let's go for this, like this, primary button text, secondary button text. So take your time to edit all of this information once you are moved on. And I'm gonna go back, of course. And now as you can see how the bright number 2 already been edited. So I think it's kind of fine actually so far. So what I can do is just to try to choose this option. Number 1. Going to go back and save it. So every time you make a change, you want to hit into save. Trust me, it's going to be really helpful to save every time you make a change. So now into my palette edition, I'm going to change this for something really great so far. But now let's say that I wanted to change this new colors like this and this one like this. So it looks great so far. So what I think that I kind of changed, that I wanted to change here, is maybe the colors that appears into the actual background. And there we go. So if you don't know what kind of presets you want to use for colors, you don't have to worry about it because we already have some presets that we can use automatically. For example, we have this one, you can change it for this one, you can change it for this one. That is totally optional. Usually what these kind of applications do is to choose some lighter colors into the very first part. Then later on you can move on to colored, let's say different palettes, and later on you have darker colors. So usually what I do is just to try to find the best suit for me. And if you kind of like what you see here, is going to continue. If you don't like what you're seeing here, you're just gonna move on. Stay here until you find the one that best suits for you. So as you can see now, we have the site style already been enabled. So this is the part where I wanted to get started to customize now the new section, which in my case is the elements that are inside the actual website. So for example, it says BBQ is my life. I'm going to try to delete actually this stuff, and I'm going to go a little bit up, and there we go. So usually what I do in this case is try to edit the whole title, because in this case it's really huge. So make the best videos. There we go. So as you can see now, maybe what we can do is to try to move this down here. So you can see that there's a lot of rectangles here. So what I want to try to do is to put this where it was actually belonging. So make the best videos. I'm going to try to leave this like that. I click into all the title, which in this case is from here to here. I change this to aligned, and I try to make this something like this. So really important to try to design the best shot as you can. You want to impact people. People are really interested into stuff that actually looks great. If you have something bummer like a blog, they're not going to be really interested into that. So what I want to do is to try to create like a really great section of your actual website. If you don't know what you're doing, this is the part where I actually recommend you guys to use an actual template, because it would be really easy to just edit something that was already been generated and not created from starters. So really important though. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit more smaller, like this. Now as you can see, we have a lot of information here, so I'm going to try to leave this like that. And usually what I kind of like the most, speaking about Squarespace, is that you have the liberty to do whatever you want without having to use an actual, let's say, plugins or applications. Everything should be inside here into the blocks as it's supposed to be actually. So make the best video so far. So we click here once again, move this where it was supposed to be. Let's say for example here. And there we go. So now as you can see, we have something really easy created. I'm going to hit now to add block, and let's say for example that I'm going to be adding like a contact form or a sign up. So I have this newsletter for example. Now subscribe, sign up with your email, receive news and updates. Usually what a lot of people do is to add this kind of subscribe stuff at the end of an actual website. But in this case, I'm going to just do this into the very first part, because what the hell, this is our website and we're going to be doing whatever we wanted to, right? So we have the subscribe, sign up with our email here, make the best videos. I think this could be like the best part to add our logo of TechExpress. So I can go here into add block, and you can just hit into add an image, which in this case I'm going to delete this. It would be added here into image, and I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this a little bit down here, and this is the part where you wanted to add your custom logo. Now if you don't have a logo, what you can do is to hit into save. I'm going to hit into exit. Check out how it's going to be looking at our website so far. It actually looks great. So I'm going to try to go back, and I'm going to import my actual new, let's say my logo. If you don't have an actual logo, what I can totally suggest to you is to use applications generators for free. For example, Canva. Now Canva can be helping you to build almost any kind of stuff totally for free. I do have an actual paid plan for Magic Media, for example, using into, let's say, text to realistic images, for example, here. So I'm going to try to use 500 by 500, create it into a new design. And now what I wanted to do is to create a new logo here. So here into the image, let's say that I wanted to create a PNG, or let's say a logo for a YouTube. Short and precise, but easy to use. So I think that I kind of like this one. I'm going to hit generate again, just in case that I wanted to create like a different prompt. Minimalistic logo for an e-commerce brand. I'm going to try to add Tech Express. Now you have to make sure that you know that this is not like super accurate. So you don't want to depend into this kind of tools, but these are really strong generation that can be helping you to, let's say, use this for later on. So let's say in this case that I use this image logo, and as you can see, I asked it to add the text of TechExpress, but it didn't add me anything at all. But I have something really easy to use here and to edit photos. So what I wanted to do, let's say for example that I here to edit the photo, I remove the actual background of this one. And now let's say that I'm going to hit into elements. I'm going to add like a circle shape. And I'm going to try to use the same color that was generated here. That I'm pretty sure it was something like this. I'm going to make this a little bit more big enough. And now lastly, I'm going to hit now into the positions and change this like this into the upper side. I'm going to move this here. And I believe that will be actually it. So I'm going to hit now into show, download transparent background. Really important to choose a transparent background. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back into this new website section. And now this is the part where I wanted to edit my custom image. So I'm going to hit now into edit. Remember that we have here this image section. So I'm going to hit into upload my file. So now I'm going to scroll a little bit down. I choose my file, which in this case, actually this one. I hit into open. And as you can see, here it is. So lastly, what I commonly do here is to make this square. I make this super big. And I want to make this a little bit more down here. And now later on, I'm going to hit into add block. I'm going to hit into add text. I'm going to put this one here. And where it says write text, I'm going to go for Tech Express tutorial blocks. So what is left to be done with this kind of stuff is just to edit my actual paragraph. For example, this is an actual heading, for example. So I'm going to hit into align like this. Usually what I do is just to try to change the color. Later on, you can try to edit the block background, for example. You can use this as a link, the actual highlight, for example, but that's totally optional. In this case, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to try to remove this highlight like this. I make this a little bit more like this. And now the AI beta of this Squarespace can be helping you to generate writing assistant that can be helping you to, let's say, simplify steps. So, but I'm going to be doing that later. So you're going to make sure that this block section actually looks great inside my actual section. So I think it kind of looks great so far. So there we go. So now the block background should be removed. I'm going to go back. And now I'm going to scroll a little bit down. And in this part, I'm going to hit into add blocks. I'm going to hit into add text. And here, what I want to be doing here is to click into this button. And now let's go for what do you need? Let's say a short description or a long description for my website my blog website about, let's say, tutorials, video tutorials that can help people to, let's say, learn a lot about marketing, e-commerce, and more. Hit into Guide, and with this information and the information that you provided to the website before and after, automatically this element should be added by itself. So for example, I have now this super text that says, welcome to TechSpress Tutorials, your ultimate learning resources for marketing, commerce, and more. So how amazing is that, guys? I'm going to try to just gift a few space here, because this is the part where I wanted to hit into edit, and of course try to move it into the elements of creative content. So in this case, now that I have the content already been generated by itself, what I want to be doing here is just to try to add like a really strong and great information and great creativeness here. So let's see, for example, that maybe the title can be changed like this. I'm going to remove the actual color here, and it actually looks great so far, right? So there we go. So as you can see, it is looking really great so far. We have the actual title, we have the subscribe button, we have the make the BST videos. I can change the image if I want to. For example, here into edit, I hit into replace, select from library, or I can browse some free images. So instead of, let's say, like having this kind of stuff that is totally about nothing about marketing, I can choose marketing and marketing strategy. For example, if I try to use this one, hit into add the image, and automatically this one was provided by Splash stuff. So the content should be edited automatically, and the design that was like a circle stuff will be edited automatically. So it's going to be looking great so far. So now I'm going to click into this actual text. I delete or edit this section, and as you can see, what I kind of wanted to add is a few font later or a few new colors. Usually what I do is just leave this like that, because actually this one actually works for me. So if you wanted to edit something that you don't want to see or to try to change the alignment and all of that, you can just hit into edit the row and change it later. So I'm going to scroll a little bit down and move on into the next step, which is adding or deleting elements that you do or you don't want to see. For example, this section, let's say that I am not selling stuff, so I can go here into removed, and just like that, these elements should be already been removed. Discover our top flavors. Let's go for discover our new YouTube videos. So I click here, I move this down here, 1 2 3, and there we go. Now here into this new block, I'm going to hit into edit the section. I have the actual background, which in this case is an actual image. But let's say that I wanted to add a new video, for example. So I use add from link. I'm going to open a new tab actually. And let's say that I wanted to create like a GIF of marketing. I'm going to go into images. And here, for example, let's say that I have this one. I'm going to actually try to type with this one from the Tanner GIF. So I choose to copy this URL and I try to paste it here. Oh, but check out that we have actually a stuff from YouTube. So let's say, for example, that I go for TechSpress Tutorials, which in this case that will be ourselves. I'm going to go into the latest video that we could just add it automatically, which in this case is this one. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here into YouTube video here, and let's go for add. There we go. So as you can see, discover our new YouTube videos, and here is our actual trending stuff that we generated so far. So full bleed, or go into the insert and here into filter, for example blue, playback speed, let's go for example 1 or 1 to 5. That was totally depending on what you're actually trying to look for. So leave it like that. What's cooking? I'm going to try to remove this one. I don't want to see this one so far. I wanted to click here. I need to remove about Stanley. Let's go for about Tech Express. A Tech XP, for example. It all begins with an idea. Usually what a lot of people do when they wanted to add, let's say, more information about the contact section and all of that, if you click here into edit, you have here this contact version, you have here this new linked to, and as you can see, we have the fast forward / contact. Usually what I do here in order to edit this is to edit an actual navigation bar. But since we are editing this footer section, I don't want to mess around stuff. I'm gonna hit into save. And so far, I think we have covered the basics to get started with my very first home section. So if I go into the upper side, I'm going to type mobile view because I wanted to see how it's going to be looking my actual website into an actual phone. So I scroll a little bit down. As you can see, this one doesn't look so well. Now it looks well here. Are you looking to master the world of marketing? Blah, 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 blah. TechSpress tutorial section, BBS out. So as you can see, sometimes this, to add a lot of elements, feels like an actual mess. So what you want to do is to make sure that you have enough stuff, enough space to add all the elements into, in this case, a really not that huge website. So let's cover our new video. So I have now something much more interesting. So what I want to do is to give in some space here. So it's really important for me to see how it's going to be looking my website into different devices, because in this case I wanted to make sure that I have enough space so people don't feel like there's a lot of information into just one simple and easy website. So as you can see, I think that this actually looks like an actual mess. So for that, I give them a little bit more space into the actual center, and it looks a little bit now great, so it can be more appreciated now. So remember that what you do here into the phone edition, it doesn't appear to be edited into the other section. So if I go back into my new computer section, all of these elements should be just as we left it before. So if I change this now into the mobile view, these new elements should be edited as we were actually editing here into the mobile view. So what I do now is to hit into save. I'm going to hit into exit. And as you can see here, we have the website view that we just edited our stuff so far. We have the selling section. Into the selling section, you can see there's a lot of products that you can add automatically. In this case, we are not going to be focusing into adding products, but here you can see that you can add products to your inventory, physical services, downloads, member side, video on demand, gift cards, even courses you can add in schedule, coaching, appointment, classes, whatever. So you can import those even from Etsy if you're willing to add those. So you have the payments. In order to accept money and all of that, you can enable to accept money directly from Square, from PayPal, or to Stripe just by adding an account totally for free. You can choose a subscription plan in order to stick around with the actual Squarespace. Now, usually we're actually using a free plan of 7 and 14 days. We are using so far the business tool, but if you're asking me, if you don't have a lot of contributors, if you're not willing to use an actual commerce and you're not willing to work a lot into the marketing, the personal one is going to be really suitable for you. But if you're actually willing to sell stuff here into Squarespace and you wanted to metric and follow marketing stuff, I believe like the best solution for you should be the business tools rather than the basic one of the commerce. So really important to choose which one fits for you the best. Check out all the features, all the unlimited versions, the core, all the commerce stuff that can be enabled for different plans, and then later on you make the plan and see if this one actually works for you. But in this case, I'm going to be focusing now into a next section, which in this case, we have customer accounts, we have low stocks alerts, we have cart and checkout, shipping stuff, pickups, taxes. This is something that can be really important for people who are selling stuff here into Squarespace. And we have now the next part, which is the CEO of this new website. Of course, this is like the marketing tool. Now, this CEO appearance is how it's going to be looking your actual website into the very first part of the navigation bars, for example, here into Google. So here, as you can see, here's like the home, pages, items. You can try to change the Google search keywords. So begin with the analytics. So you can try to jump right into the analytics. And what you can do is to try to edit your text, your keywords of how it's going to be looking your actual website. So let's say, for example, that the CEO title format should be Tech Express I'm going to try to delete this TechSpress tutorials for beginners and e-commerce, right? CEO site description. So let's say, for example, this is a website designed to help people who are just getting started in the e-commerce world. Now, in this kind of descriptions, in this title, in this pages and items, it is really important that you choose as much keywords as you can. So Google understands what is your website about. So Google is, let's say, for example, works with some artificial intelligence. So you wanted to let Google learn what your website it is about. So you can show it how it's going to be working later on. You can help people to find you. Actually, you help Google to let others find you, and this actually going to be the work done by itself. Now here inside the actual marketing section, you have the meta pixels and ad. You can add in pixel ID directly from the Meta Business Suite here into add pixel ID. That can be helping you to send site visitors data to Meta, so you can better target your ads later and to your audience to see which one fits for your new ads and your let's say your new campaigns and much more. Later on, we have the third-party tools. So we have connected accounts that we can add later on, or we have different extensions that can be helping us to boost a little bit more our actual website. For example, let's say that I wanted to get started with some CEO tools. You have the tiny images here that can be helping you to speed a little bit more your traffic and sales. You can choose some business tools type. For example, I have the Swift filling here. We have the Dun and Bradstreet's. You wanted to make some sales and marketing stuff. So let's say, for example, that you have this Sprout one that can be helping you to easy become more sustainable, reach eco-conscious customers. Here we have email campaigns, Judge.me that can be helping you to add product reviews with free photos and videos from social proof. So it's going to be really add to have extensions directly into your site of Squarespace. So now later on here, you have the actual settings and we have the domains. Now the domains can be helping you to associate this one into an actual website so people know what you're actually about here. So if I hit into get a domain, let's say, for example, here I have the TechSpress tutorials. So these TechSpress tutorials, let's say, for example, this one, expresstutorials.com cost MX $216 a year actually. So it's not that hard actually. It's like less than $15 actually, I believe. So if you wanted to use whatever here, just go here into add to the cart, make the checkout, and once you wanted to go back into your website, now you have this new domain already been connected, and this domain is going to be helping people to know that you are a little bit more professional than you were before. So now, as you can see, we have the site availability. So the site availability is going to be helping people, of course, to control this one is available or not. Since we are using an actual for a trial version, this is actually totally private. So anyone with the passcode can see this site. So if people go for 1, 2, 3, 4, anyone can see my actual passcode. But what you want to do is to try to use the public one, but you want to upgrade your website in order to make this published. So really important to add this. Now we have the member list, social links, social sharings, selling style if you chose so far. We have checked out the marketing now. We have checked the connected accounts. And lastly, we have the billing, payment, subscription, and to the endpoint. So for people who are curious to sell stuff here into the Squarespace, actually is not that hard to work in here. So I'm going to just try to import my Etsy account so you can see how it's going to be looking your actual, let's say, your products. So if I go into the selling section, and I have these new orders, discount, invoicing, selling tools, usually what you can do is to go directly into the selling here. We have the products, and here have the import from Etsy. So I'm going to hit into get started, name your store. Here, let's say, for example, I have the TechSpress store. Like this. Start to import, name your store. In this case, what I want to do is to continue with Google. I choose this one. One moment please. Really important to make sure that you have an actual account here into Etsy. You have to grant the access, and it's really cheap to add one product here into Etsy. For ourselves cost 20 cents. So you wanted to check out how it's going to be looking at that, I'm going to leave you a link down below in the description so you can check out the Etsy store totally for free, and you can just move it on into the store setup. So all of the products here that were directly from in this case Etsy should be imported directly into your actual Squarespace. So I'm going to go here into products, and you should see that your product should be added automatically. So it actually looks great so far. So I can click here into one product, I can go into the three dots, I can go into the preview, and you can see that the product, it is actually already been appeared in here. So I have added all of these elements directly from Etsy. So if you go into etsy.com, you want to make sure that all your products that you have just generated and created were actually imported correctly into your actual website. For example, the title, the description, the colors, the sizes, the quantity, everything should be added automatically. So as you can see, it is actually looking really great. What is left to be done to check out like more tools? For example, you have the marketing section. You can see that there is here into the marketing. So you have promotional pop-ups, you have URL builder, you have meta pixels as we saw before, you have the CER appearance, we have announcement bars, and much more elements. So you can see that this Squarespace sometimes for a lot of people is actually, let's say for example, too expensive. A lot of people might be saying that, but I believe it is strongly recommendable to use these great Squarespace, because some people say that you actually get what you paid for. And to be honest, I think this actual website is going to be really helpful for people who wanted to get started and to, let's say, scale and level up their actual design and stuff. So they don't know anything about how to create an actual website, they don't know anything about designs. By just using the right tool, by just using the right template, can be helping you to figure out how it's going to be looking and to create your branding and to drive some more traffic and to attract more people into your website, or how to be an actual expert of what you're actually doing here into your actual in this case my TechSpress website. So with that being said, guys, we have now reached the very end of the video, but don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more great tools how you can get started here into this great website of Squarespace. You can see that into our actual YouTube videos, you have to see a lot. You can see there's a lot of tutorials about Google Sites, about Wix, about Squarespace, about hosting, or there's an actual a lot of website too, but I can show you that so far this is one of the most website builder, really amazing. So once again, I'm gonna leave you a link down below in the description so you can check out this new free versions that are for free the next 14 days. You can try it out and you plan later on. Once again, might be a little bit expensive, but it's really worthy. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching the video. Hope this was very valuable for you. We are more than welcome to check out your actual comment and to see your actual new creations of Squarespace. You can leave out down below your websites and see how what you actually create with this great tool. So thank you once again, guys. See you next time.